Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Matt Greer. I'm the music director here at St. John's. Welcome to another concert on the Music at St. John's concert series. We are so happy you are here. Whether you're joining us in the room or joining us by live stream, live or later, because you just stumbled upon this fantastic concert, we're thrilled that you are here. This is the second to the last kind of concert on this season of Music at St. John's. If you've been following us this season, it's been an absolutely spectacular one. And I would mention that the next concert we have coming up is on the 21st of April, when we'll welcome King's Return, an amazing a cappella group out of Dallas. You may have noticed on YouTube during the lockdown because they were posting videos singing in stairwells. And they're going to be here April 21st. We're thrilled about that. And then kind of a late addition to the series, and not on a Sunday afternoon, but in late May, the 23rd of May, which happens to be a Thursday night, we're going to welcome Lyra, which is the brand new a cappella group out of the Voces 8 Foundation. 6 women, all based in the US. This is a brand new venture for them. People are thrilled about this, and we get them on their very first American tour. So make sure you have that down. What's unusual about King's Return and Lyra both is those are ticketed events, so just know tickets are actually on sale now if you go to our website, musicatstjohns.org. We would love to see you back for those 2 events. Following today's concert, if you're in the room with us live in person, there'll be a reception. We hope that you'll enjoy greeting the artists and have some refreshments. If you're joining us online, you can go in your kitchen and fix yourself something, I guess. And then during that reception also, there will be CDs for sale. Daniela Mars has an absolutely lovely recording, and after you hear her, you're going to want to purchase that. I would mention that there was a postcard that was in your program that probably fell out on your way in. If you fill that out and share your contact information with us, drop it in the collection plate on the way out. You'll be entered into a drawing to win one of those recordings that I just mentioned. And you'll also be on the mailing list to hear all the spectacular things that are coming up. So we hope you'll stick around for that. Finally, I would mention, or I would draw your attention to the back of your program, where are listed some of our very favorite people in the whole world, our Music at St. John's notables, without whom this series that has been going on for more than 15 years would not be possible. Music at St. John's is not in the church budget. It is funded entirely through donations. So if you would like to add your name to that list of amazing people, that's what the yellow form is for. You can scan a QR code. You can go on to musicatstjohns.org and donate. We'd be happy to add your name there for the next concert. Or if you're just feeling generous, which believe me, after you hear this music, you're going to be in a great mood. Following the concert on your way out, all of the exits will be blocked by ushers holding collection plates, and we would invite you to give generously. We've so been looking forward today for a number of reasons. Paul Smith, if you've been coming to concerts for any period of time, you know is an old friend. Paul was one of the co-founders of Voces 8, who's been here many times, and now the Voces 8 organization includes Apollo 5 and now Lyra. And we're just so pleased and proud that we have a partnership with the Voces 8 Foundation. Paul and Danny have been here all week, and they have been making music in 4 Albuquerque elementary schools as part of a program we have going called Sing Together Albuquerque, which puts musicians in Albuquerque elementary schools with whom we have a partnership. This is a partnership among St. John's Music Ministries, Quintessence, and the Voces 8 Foundation. So by your giving generously to this series, just know that you're also supporting fantastic educational work. Paul is an old friend, but we are so happy to be welcoming here for the first time his partner in the Mars-Smith duo, Daniela Mars. And now would you welcome Daniela Mars and Paul Smith.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be back, and it's a nice moment for me when Matt actually leaves the microphone at a level I can speak in, so thanks for that, Matt. Danny and I are absolutely thrilled to be here. As you heard from Matt, I feel like this is a second home for me, really, here in the US. And to be able to introduce Danny to this beautiful part of the world this week has been a real treat for us. As you heard, we've been visiting some local schools and other connections in the local area, but we've also had a chance to visit some of the beautiful areas around here. We went for a lovely hike a couple of days ago, and I mention that because one of the main themes that we're going to introduce to you through this afternoon's concert actually touches with our deep love of nature. And we've started there this evening with, this afternoon even, with Crepuscular. And as you can see, we've set a soft blue light for the mood of our concert this afternoon. And Crepuscular was actually a piece that we wrote after visiting Joshua Tree National Park together last year. We got up very early in the morning. It was about 4 o'clock. We got up, we drove up into the national park and just sat there as dawn happened around us. And it was quite a magical moment and a bit of an alien landscape. And I think the way that you heard Danny playing the contrabass flute there, which she'll talk a bit more about later on, and maybe you noticed, did you notice she was singing and playing at the same time? It's quite a cool effect, and at altitude it's even more impressive. So that was Crepuscular. We're going to actually perform for you now a world premiere. So we wrote this next piece, Fossa, after visiting the Faroe Islands last December. You're familiar with the Faroe Islands? They're about this big, and they're a long way north of Scotland, closing in on the Arctic Circle. So in the winter, there's maybe 3 or 4 hours of daylight, and in the summer, it's never dark. So we visited in the winter, which meant each day we'd get up just around 9 or 10 o'clock was when actually we could begin to start getting out into the environment. And for the pieces we're going to perform today, we're referencing different parts of the islands. And to go with the music, if you look at the screens, I'm very happy to say we didn't just go and make music there. We took our cameras, we took our drones, and we captured video footage of everything that we were seeing. So we're going to take you on a little bit of a journey. So as well as listening to what we're performing, you'll be able to see, touch wood, all of the videos that we were making as well. So this next piece is called Fossa, and it features Danny and myself. And look out for not one, but 2 waterfalls.
Thank you so much. As Paul did mention, for us, this is quite high in altitude, and I could definitely feel the difference in playing a wind instrument, especially this one. This is called the contrabass flute. It's a very rare instrument. If you've never seen it before, that's totally normal. Even there are many flutists who have never seen it. It's got the same octave range as a cello, and the larger the wind instrument, the more air you need. So this definitely needs a lot of air. Our next piece is called Heart Weaving. Paul and I wrote it kind of in a response to Crepuscular. And in the beginning it was going to be called The Light of the Great Outdoors, but I usually change titles very often before I actually choose one for the piece. So in the end it was Heart Weaving, and it was supposed to represent that moment where your heartstrings start to entwine with some other heartstrings, creating bonds, ties, knots. So a very romantic piece. After that, we will have Northern Lights, which is a piece which represents nature so much to me. I absolutely adore this piece. It's by Olayelo, originally for choir. We are very lucky to have a choir behind Paul and I who are going to join us for that piece. And then after that, we have Ocean in minor, which is again with the contrabass flute and a bass flute, which I have behind me. So this first piece is Heart Weaving.
And when we get to Ocean in minor, you'll see that something else comes back on the screens. The great thing about the Faroe Islands, or one of the many great things, is that it's actually not just surrounded by ocean. There's an ocean and a sea, which kind of crashes into the different parts of the islands. And one of the beautiful things about the video where you'll see next is the sand, which is absolutely black. So watch out for that. And you may also see, if you look very carefully, Danny and I as well in that one. see on the introduction to this event that we called it immersive and interactive. And you still came. First of all, before we go any further, I heard a few of you at the end of that piece by Yalo just let out a and that was because of these guys, wasn't it? Can we give our choir a huge round of applause? Beautiful singing. And that clapping was a sort of interaction to get you warmed up, so well done on that bit, you did great. Danny and I are doing a bit of an experiment as we go around the world at the moment, and we'd love you to be part of it. Would that be okay? I'm glad some of you said yes, and the rest of you are just leaving quietly as quickly as you can. Do you want to explain a bit more, Danny?
Sure. What we would love to do is, well, actually this morning, Paul and I, we were talking to Jim, which some of you might know, plays the piano and organ here. And he was speaking a bit about, was it piano bar that he used to do, and this idea that it stops being a performer's audience kind of dynamic, and it just becomes everyone making music together. So an exercise or an experiment that I would do sometimes with a crowd, or Paul and I would do, is we'd ask the audience to hum a note, so everyone just to close their eyes and then pick a note to hum. And usually what happens is, obviously everyone's going to pick a different note in their heads. But then slowly, as you get louder, the room tends to agree on one note, whatever note that is, it's always different. And Paul and I would like to play some music over it. And once you hear our music stop, then you can just do a diminuendo or decrescendo into silence. So could you all just close your eyes? That's okay.
Do we all understand what we have to do here? Yeah. So all you have to do is close your eyes, sing a note, then when it comes together, keep doing that. No one's going to give you any directions because you can't see us. And when you hear the flute stop at that point, we're just going to slowly drift to an end. You don't have to stop abruptly, just stop when it feels right. Shall we give it a go?
Yeah.
Choir, you're in for this as well, aren't you? Yeah, here we go, I can tell.
So if you could all close your eyes and start humming a note, any note. A bit louder. That was really beautiful, thank you. If anyone's curious, the notes was F today.
So the note was F, and we tried this with the choir the other night with Matt's choir. Hands up if you're in Matt's choir. Okay, so you managed to successfully choose a different note tonight, so that was very good. And Jim came up to us, having said these beautiful words this morning. He did come up to us after that particular moment last time. He said, "You guys are crazy trying to do that." So thanks, Jim. But we agree and we love it. And I think the collective moment when we just make noise together is such a beautiful experience. It really brings us together in a way that just is uplifting and joyful. And so thank you so much for being brave enough to partake of that. We're going to follow up now with another song with the choir. And so this is a piece that I wrote a few years ago called Nunc Dimittis. It's a setting of the text by the Song of Simeon from the Bible. And it's that moment where Simeon holds the baby Jesus in his arms for the first time and says, "Now that I have seen that you are here, it's okay for me to pass into the next life." So there's a moment of immense peace and gratitude for a life lived in this work. And you may have noticed, actually, Danny and I kind of looking at each other and nodding occasionally through the show tonight. A lot of what we're doing is quite improvised. So we're making it up as we go along. You will never see this concert again. You may be grateful. But this piece is not improvised, so this is fully written, and the choir sounds beautiful. So let's welcome them back. Thank you very much. For those of you who know your Nunc Dimittis, you may also know there is a Magnificat that goes with that normally. And actually, I wrote the Nunc Dimittis text first some years ago. I've loved that text ever since I was a child, and I sang as a chorister in London. And today, in fact, probably at this very moment, there is another live stream happening somewhere else in America from the Twin Cities, and they're performing the version of the Magnificat that I've written for the very first time. So I'm quite excited that the Americans are singing the Magnificat and the Nunc Dimittis today. But wow, you guys sound gorgeous. That was absolutely beautiful. You made such a beautiful noise singing one note that I think we're going to try and extend you beyond that. And so I wonder if a few of you just recognize this melody. If I went, we're going to be in this key. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Hands up if you have ever heard that song before. I'll take that as a yes. So I was very lucky. Last year and the year before, I got to work with this guy called Paul Simon, who you might know a little bit. And if you're a fan of Paul Simon, you may know that he had an album that's just come out a few months ago called 7 Psalms, which is a 33-minute through-composed piece. I'd almost imagine it a bit like his Requiem, really. It feels like probably the last thing he's ever going to write, and it was just totally stunning. He uses, alongside guitar and voice, he uses also the voice of his wife, Edie. He uses a lot of bowls and crystals and sounds like that, quite spiritual, quite mystical. And he also uses the voices of Voces 8. But many people have listened to the album and said they didn't know where Voces 8 was. So if you listen carefully, what he actually did, he took our individual voices and then he stuck them around guitar notes. So he's created a kind of halo of sound through the whole album, which features us, but nobody actually knows we're there. Anyway, in homage to Paul Simon, I thought maybe we could have a go at singing that little melody together. Do you think you know that a bit? Let's give it a test. So see if you can have a sing with me on the first verse. Here we go. And are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to the one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. That sounds beautiful, and as you can hear, the choir are going to help. When I was with the other choir earlier this week, we also played a game where each time the last line comes up, she once was a true love of mine. If you want to add in your own harmony, you're very welcome to do that. There are only 2 chords, so there's only so far you can go. She once was a true love of mine. The first verse and the last verse is she once was a true love of mine. In between, it's then she'll be a true love of mine. And if you don't know this song at all, and you're like, what have I just walked into that everyone knows this piece? The good news is every verse includes the middle line, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. So whatever happens, you're in for that bit. Okay, just before we get to that song, Danny and I are going to play one more piece and connect it to a video. And we mentioned that there was an ocean surrounding the Faroe Islands, and there's also a sea. So we've had a piece called Ocean, and now this is called C in minor, and for the musical witticism, it's in C minor. And that is the full extent of my humour and why Matt loves me so much. So, Gil, if you're ready, here we go with C in minor, and that's going to go straight into Scarborough Fair. So be ready. I'll get us going on that. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, without no seams nor needlework. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Very nice. Tell her to find me an acre of land. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, between the salt water and the sea strands. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to reap it with a sickle of leather. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, and gather it all with a bunch of heather. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Now we're back to the first verse again. This time was the last verse. Here we go. And are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, remember me to the one who lives there. Let's sing the last line 3 times. She once was a true love of mine. 2 more. She once was a true love of mine. Last time, super slow. She once was a true love of mine. Give yourselves a round of applause. Choir, that was beautiful. This was a small gamble for us. When we spoke to some other people last time we tried to do this, we said, do you know this song? And most people went, huh? So clearly you guys are the right audience for this piece. That was brilliant. So we're now going to play another piece just with Danny and myself. And the first of these takes us to the coldest moment we had on the Faroe Islands. So in the space of the 6-7 days that we were there, we would often experience, I suppose, how many different types of weather?
We saw a bit of everything. There was a snowstorm, it was sunny, hailstorm, rain, just snow without the storm, a bit of everything.
And it would change in the space of a few seconds. So often we'd have the drone way out over the ocean, and suddenly you'd see hail sweeping around the corner and think, oh my God, I've got to get the camera back. And this little machine would go as fast as it could. And a couple of times we definitely got it back just about 30 seconds before the rain started or the hail came. Anyway, this piece we're going to perform for you is called Sparse. And we went up, it was on our last day, and we climbed a mountain which we thought was going to be sunny, and then the snow arrived. So the video, I think, will capture quite how cold it got.
And towards the end of the video, because Paul was taking such a long time with the drone, I got a bit fed up of standing in the snow. So you see some footsteps, and that's just him following me back, because I went back before him.
Yeah, Danny left me up the mountain and just went home.
Yeah.
So when you see poignant footsteps in the snow, you know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a piece called Sparse, and as you listen to it, I think you'll see there's kind of inspiration, particularly from kind of Arvo Pärt. It's very, very minimalist. And after that, we're going to jump back to a piece by J.S. Bach and one of his chorales from the Passion, the Matthew Passion, I think, off the top of my head. Everyone's nodded, thankfully. So that's going to go on straight after Sparse. Thanks very much. I feel like it's not a concert if you haven't had Bach in there somewhere. So he's just, we love and adore and worship. So we've got one more piece this afternoon, including the choir. And the choir has been fantastic because they've had really very little time to work with us on this project. But the time that we've had has been great fun, which I think is one of the most important things when we're making music together. And also for the final piece, they didn't have it until last night, and they still don't really have it. And what I actually told them was just, if you could do this kind of stuff at the beginning and this kind of stuff at the end, that'd be great. And so that's what we're going to do, I think. But Danny, do you want to tell us about the piece?
This piece is also inspired by the Faroe Islands, so we do have a video to go with it. There are many myths and legends in the Faroe Islands, and some of them are around mermaids or seal women, as they call them. And so this piece is called Here There Be Mermaids. It's about, it's a very sad tale, really. So we really wanted to include some voices in it because, of course, the sirens and the singing. We have done a recording which will come out in a week or so with the new Voce Foundation ensemble called Lyra. And we're just so grateful to have the choir today to sing some of the pieces with us.
And as you watch the video, you'll notice the difference between Danny and I. There's a very, very steep drop and a very big cliff. And I decided to stay by the lighthouse, and Danny decided to go, I think, within 1 meter of death. That's how I describe it. I am not that brave. But actually connecting to the myth, this very cliff that Danny is standing on is a cliff where, as a woman, you are able to walk out and you will be protected by all of the forces that protect the island. However, if as a man you tread this path, beware, for the spell that connects to this story will not be broken until a chain of men holding hands who have fallen to their doom surrounds the island. Can you understand why I decided not to go out there now? Anyway, this is Here There Be Mermaids. Thank you so much. Okay, Danny, we're going to change the vibe a bit now, aren't we?
We're going to go somewhere completely different. For those of you who don't know, I'm from Brazil, and I love Brazilian music. And then actually our next album will be inspired by Brazil and the northeast of Brazil and these beautiful sand dunes. So we wanted to finish today with some Brazilian music, some bossa nova. And the first piece we're going to be singing is by Tom Jobim, which is a very famous bossa nova composer. It's called Chega de Saudade, which means enough. Saudade is actually a very difficult word to translate because you don't really have it in English. It's about the feeling of missing someone. So when we say I am with saudade, it means I am with that feeling of missing you. So Chega de Saudade means enough of saudade, and it's probably one of his most famous pieces. De você viver sem mim, não quero mais esse negócio de você viver assim. Vamos deixar esse negócio de você viver sem mim. Thank you. Something that I forgot to mention about this song is that in the beginning, it starts very sad. He's saying, enough with this feeling, enough of you being away. And then towards the end of the song, it goes into a major key, and it changes completely. He is again with her. So it almost seems from the lyrics, which I won't translate everything now, that in the beginning, it's as if he was broken up from his love. And as he was writing, they got back together, so he just completely rewrote the ending. Now, this song is a tune which I'm sure many of you have heard before. It's called The Girl from Ipanema, and it's the same. It's just talking about a woman and the beauty and love. Brazilians love to talk about love and all these strong emotions. So this is...
The British do not.
This is why he's on piano and I'm singing.
Pretty much.
So this is The Girl from Ipanema.
Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça. Ela, menina que vem e que passa, doce balança, caminho do mar. Moça do corpo dourado do sol de Ipanema, o céu balançado é mais que um poema, é a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar. Porque estou tão sozinha. Porque tudo é tão triste. A beleza que existe. A beleza que não é só minha, que também passa sozinha. Se ela soubesse que quando ela passa, o mundo inteirinho se enche de graça e fica mais lindo por causa do amor. Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça. Ela, menina que vem e que passa, doce balança, caminho do mar. Do corpo dourado do sol de Ipanema, o céu balançado é mais que um poema, é a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar. Porque estou tão sozinho. Porque tudo é tão triste. A beleza que existe. A beleza que não é só minha, que também passa sozinha. Se ela soubesse que quando ela passa, o mundo inteirinho se enche de graça e fica mais lindo por causa do amor. Por causa do amor. Você é o meu amor. Você é o meu amor.
Thank you so much. We've got one last song. This isn't considered bossa nova. In Brazil we say it's MPB, which is popular Brazilian music. So it's like Brazilian pop. But it talks a lot about Carnival, which is also something we love, the huge party that happens every year. And I just absolutely love this song. It's very nostalgic for me. And it's by a famous group called Tribalistas, in which it's a funny group because three famous singers, they were already very well established in Brazil, decided to get together and form this band. And they were incredibly successful and wrote lovely music. So this piece is called Carnavalia by Tribalistas.
And just before we sing that, I think this is our last piece in the programme, so we'd love to just say a few thank yous. First of all to Gil and the amazing team running all the technical stuff here today, who've made this place look so beautiful.
And something that I didn't expect was to love Albuquerque so much, and I know a big part of it is because of Matt and how well he received us, so thank you so much,
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Also, as Matt mentioned, if you'd like to come and say hi and get some tips from Danny on how to speak Brazilian Portuguese, which I'm still working quite hard on, then do come say hi to us after the concert. And as Matt mentioned, we do have a few CDs available, so we'd love you to take us home with you tonight, if you know what I mean. Thank you, choir. Also, just to let you know, if you're on Instagram, you trendy things, we now have an account there called Mars Smith Duo. And if you don't already follow Daniela Mars Flute, then you definitely should do after tonight to see more videos of the amazing contrabass. Anyway, this is Carnavalia, and listen carefully. You might need to sing along later. Might.
Vem pra minha ala, que hoje a nossa escola vai desfilar. Vem fazer história, que hoje é dia de glória neste lugar. Vem comemorar, escandalizar ninguém. Vem me namorar, vou te namorar também. Vamos pra avenida desfilar, a vida carnavalizar. Na Portela tem mocidade imperatriz, no Império tem uma vila tão feliz. Beija-flor, vem ver a porta-bandeira, na Mangueira tem morena da tradição. Sinto a batucada se aproximar, estou ensaiando para te tocar. Repique tocou, o surdo escutou e o meu coração borim. Cuica gemeu, será que era eu quando ela passou por mim? La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Vem pra minha ala, que hoje a nossa escola vai desfilar. Vem fazer história, que hoje é dia de glória neste lugar. Vem comemorar, escandalizar ninguém. Vem me namorar, vou te namorar também. Vamos pra avenida desfilar, a vida carnavalizar. Na Portela tem mocidade imperatriz, no Império tem uma vila tão feliz. Beija-flor, vem ver a porta-bandeira, na Mangueira tem morena da tradição. Sinto a batucada se aproximar, estou ensaiando para te tocar. Repique tocou, o surdo escutou e o meu coração borim. Cuica gemeu, será